So, you heard recently, I'm sure you've heard it before, when people say, must be nice. Yeah, it must. It must be nice because I've worked my ass off. like, or, I've gone through hell or, whatever. Maybe today what I want to talk about is passive aggressive, right? And if this is a school that you subscribe to passive aggressiveness, like, let's evaluate that for you and see what you're getting out of it. I'm probably mostly connecting with people who are on the receiving end of passive aggressiveness, but it's just the reframe is needed because it's hilarious, right? Um, because they don't know you like that, right? So when people say things in passive aggressive ways, I think you tell me if you're a passive aggressor, if the point is to get your like discomfort across about what is going on with the person you're directing it to, right? Like, or just to make it easier on me and this collective, being on the receiving end, right? If we focus on that, because this can help passive aggressors as well to maybe, especially if you're self-aware, uh, to know what the impact is on the receiver, right? Especially if they're the intuitive kind, they're the tapped in kind, they're the clocking it type, but not necessarily reactive, right? In the moment. So, uh, yeah, we've been through different stages of receiving it. Main point is we don't like it. We don't like it. It's bull. It's just keep your fucking shit over there, right? Like that's the initial reaction. And we've gone through different levels of receiving it because we have to, in the if you're like in the real survive stage of whatever ugly bad is going on, or it's just like a pattern of some family member that just always, it's always been this way, so how do we change it? And it's just them and this is how they roll. Or you have actual people you call friends that do this to you, and you're supposed to pawn it off as part of their personality. A lot of P's there. Alliteration. But yeah, you're supposed to pawn it off as part of their personality, right? And just accept it. Because what? Because to keep the peace, right? Because that is more important to you. You think like you're rising above it, you're seeing the bigger picture, so to speak, and that moment of receiving that isn't going to, you reacting to it isn't gonna do anything productive for the whole, right? That is the elevated approach to this. But there's always a but here, okay? When you're thinking about that after the fact and ruminating, and like it got into your energy. It got in your energy, and that, my friend, was the point. It was to infiltrate. It was an energetic attack, right? Even if the person is like not aware of it consciously, subconsciously, that there is an attack going on. There is something going on. And I think being very aware of this it helps you evaluate like who you want to spend your time with, who you want to be around, whose energy are you shielding from yourself, whose energy, more importantly, are you, who's trying to take from your energy, because those are the very same people that literally are like, can I get a straw to drink out that cup of yours, because you got that energy and I don't. And that's why we're friends. That's why we're people, right? That's why we're family or whatever it is. So I think the again, being present, welcome to the presence project, present to the act when it's happening. Like, oh, here comes the passive aggressive. Uh, Once you're beyond, because this will happen, the initial is just you receive that, and after years of taking it, or as you evolve as a soul, you get through a stage of just taking the punches, right? But then you stop taking the punches, right? Then you're no longer, but then you become this reactive, like, what's good? You just said that. Why are you saying it like that? And then it's reactive, and you become someone who you don't want to be, right? Because that's also part of it, where you're like, I'm reacting just out of like a wound. And yes, it's truthful in the moment, but that's not me. That's not what this is about. It's about, what is it about, right? And that's the presence part. It's like, what is that comment about, right? And what can we control, right? We can control our reaction, all that, but like the processing of it, like I'll use the example of like, oh, must be nice, right? It's triggering in a lot of ways, because you're like, oh, so you're just gonna minimize it that way, right? Like everything's been handed to me, or whatever the fuck you mean by that, right? But there's more to this. It's like, oh, so can I break it down for a second and really think, yeah, it must be nice. It must be nice. For me, for my standards, it must be nice, because I work very, very hard spiritually for things to be nice for both you and me, right? And so if you flip it like that, versus just, whatever they mean by it, like, you don't know what's going on in their head, right? But you can reframe it for yourself. So anytime you get something passive aggressive, it's always, so that you can understand the veiled entendre underneath it. So what if we don't understand it, right? Well, what if we literally go with the literal meaning of your words, because words have power? That would just like slay several passive aggressors in them. Like, what if you're just like, yeah, it is. Exactly. Right? Your words, like, you're saying them to me. I know what the fuck you mean, and you're trying to make that point, but like, it would kill somebody for you to, I don't want to say play dumb, but literally lean in to the positivity of the words being spoken, and just literally setting that boundary that, oh, only your words of affirmation and love will enter here. That shit that you have underneath going on, like, that's not for me. That's something you're dealing with, honey, baby. So the best way to truly approach it. And I mean it, like to literally hear the words and and take their positive meaning and use it as a weapon and use it as a boundary, right? You think people will try that shit with you? When you're literally everything they say, like, must be nice. I know, right? It's so good because, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So yeah, it really is. Ew. I'm never going to say anything positive to you again because you're going to flip it on me. But just know that that's what your energy is doing anyway. It does it anyway, but it's just such work to then work around the anger in our minds and like, how do I respond without stepping out of character? And so a lot of the time we just like take it and stay quiet, right? The response is truly to accept the positivity in the words, because if they didn't mean that shit, then they need to be more careful with their words. But you already cast a beautiful positivity spell on me with your comment. So thank you. Same goes with online comments, or if you're building anything where you require an audience opinion of people who don't know you like that, but that have opinions about what you're about, or like expressing yourself, because you're the one. I always say this: you're the one in the arena, baby. You're the one being looked at. You're the one doing the work to put yourself out there. It's so easy to be on the side commenting, right? Then go do your own shit. Go step in. Notice how the people who are actually in the ring with you, doing the stuff that you're doing, those are never the people that to come at you. And if they are, they're feeling like you're above them in some way. That's not something that you're able to control, right? If they were smart, right? If they were truly about their shit spiritually and honestly, like, grow the fuck up, right? That's what you want to say. But spiritually is like, you see something that you admire, that you'd like to emulate, that you'd like to be like, that sparks something in you that's like, oh, I like that. If your first feeling is like, fuck them, okay, but maybe there's a different way you could be inspired by them. I'm seeing it because I could be that. Not in the same way as them, because we have different journeys, but like, I'm seeing something that I like, that I wish that I was experiencing, but I'm in the proximity of it. I am in the vicinity. I am close. I am close enough to feel this person's success, or their joy, or their whatever is their luck, right? It could be luck, it could be preparation, met opportunity, lucky person, right? And you're like, damn, I'm prepared, where's my opportunity? No, is, oh shit, I'm prepared and I'm looking at opportunity. I'm seeing it available, honey. It's possible. It's possible from people that, especially triggering, are not like, sometimes, like, if you're triggered by like the highest of the highest in your field, or what you want to reach, and you feel like you got a long way to go. Maybe you're not triggered by them. It's more like, damn, I have so much work to do to reach those millions, and that's what's triggering. You're not even like seeing them as an equal. Do you know what I mean? And maybe if you are, then like, you really could get there. Like, if they're an equal, come on, bro, like, you could get there. It's just the work that you feel like is required to get there is daunting and it's scary and it causes like, yeah, in you. But how about the people who are like maybe one step ahead of you in the journey that you want to be on? I don't want to talk about success because it triggers some people, right? But fuck that. But you know what I'm saying. If you don't, there's other videos where people are triggered by just the word success. Success is what you make it. I'm gonna repeat it. Success is individually defined. So maybe I'll call it, you being fulfilled, you being whole as a person, and feeling like your purpose in this world is what you've strived for, whatever. Like it's the goal, or it's whatever you want to reach. I don't even want to say happiness. It's like fulfillment. It's self uh, uh coming together, right? So if you're looking at the person that you feel like is one step above or ahead, or however you want to word it in your mind, that is like, oh, they reached that next little rock on the lake of stepping stones. There you go. They got on that other stones. How do they do that? You're not necessarily going to reach it the same way, but you can be inspired as fuck by the fact that it's possible. What you say is, oh shit, there is a rock there. There is one. So I'm here and I've found all these stepping stones, and there's one over there that they reached. So guess what? Even if I don't step on the same stone, I'm hopping on another rock because it's gonna appear, because it's possible. So that's how you reframe jealousy. Uh, and I think at the end of the day, passive aggressiveness comes from some sort of jealous situation going on in the aggressor, because that's what they are. So if we can, have some sort of empathy, compassion, whatever level that you want to have it at, or just a level of understanding of like, oh, there's some jealous feelings going on over there, or there's some, you can also reframe it as like, damn, they're looking at me like I'm the next step. Interesting. So I'm going to receive that energy in the way that it's intended, for real, for real. Like, damn, they're looking at me like I'm over there, which I am. And I don't look at them like they're down there, but I'm going to take your words. Your positive words must be nice. And say, oh my God, you see me up here. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And that, then you're being the person that you stay within your integrity as how you want to show up in the world, and you're literally addressing that shit in the same breath with a positivity that's, if it's someone that you know you can't avoid, or something, like someone you work with, like impossible circumstances, because otherwise you'd be like, get the fuck out of my face, bye-bye, right? But if you can't avoid them, going at it this way, where you're like, I'm literally going to take the positivity in those words and I'm going to literally thank you for that, right? So it's saying, I clocked it and I'm taking it as what it really is, what it really means, that you see me as someone who's doing well. And I thank you for that, because that is literally how I want to be viewed, as someone who is succeeding and doing well. That's how I want to view myself. And someone is helping you with their energy. even though it's stank, right? You're literally filtering out the gross and leaving it for them to deal with, and you're taking your compliment and affirming your greatness. So passive aggressive away, bitches. Because we out here alchemizing that shit for the good of all, including them. So just some thoughts for today. I love you so much. Have a great day.